Hello and welcome to RoboMonk Art and Tarot. I'm RoboMonk. Today, Spirit reveals why now is an important time in your life. We all have those important times, but it's great to have a little heads up, and Spirit is here with a message for you to actually give you a little bit more detail on what's going on and why now is important. So this is a pick a card. We will choose piles. But you know what's coming up next. I always say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for building this community. We have record amounts of subscribers, and I want to keep that going. That's wonderful. And I just want to say thank you for making this a positive experience for me and for all the people that comment and view the videos. It's so special. It's very special what we have going, and I just wanted to continue. So, and I can't do that without you. So I really appreciate you being here today. Let's look at the piles. Let's see what resonates with you. There's going to be 3 different piles, 3 different stones, 3 different images. See which ones resonate. You can always choose more than one pile if it calls to you. All right, let's go to the piles and see what they are. In pile 1, we have rhodonite. In pile 2, we have rose quartz. And in pile 3, we have red tiger's eye. So take a moment to see what resonates, and then I will see you in the piles. There are timestamps in the description if you want to skip ahead to the pile you want. All right, I'll see you there. Hello, pile 1. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Today, Spirit reveals why now is an important time in your life. We're going to look at all different aspects of this and just see why now is important. Spirit has a message for you today, and we're going to find out what that is together. As you can see, we have a Celtic cross, so that means we are going to look a little bit about what's happening now, a little bit about what has happened in the past, and what is going to happen in the future. So I'm going to draw images as Spirit gives them to me, and then we are going to interpret them together. Let's get started. The first image was very strange to me. I got a dragonfly with a propeller on the end of its nose. Now, a dragonfly is an insect that can fly around. It has 4 wings, no problem. It can go here, there, and everywhere it wants to. But then it also has this propeller stuck on the end of its nose, and it seemed superfluous. It seemed extra, unneeded, and unnatural. Those are the words that came to me while I was drawing this. And it seems that you may have something extra, unneeded, and unnatural in your life right now that may be slowing you down, but you aren't exactly realizing it yet. So we're going to delve a little deeper into this because this is quite an original image. I've never really seen this one before, and it could have a lot of meanings. So let's just get a little bit more information before we start to decipher everything. The next vision I got was a series of images, and it started out with an old-fashioned wooden door, and it had a handle that you could open. There was stonework around it, but as soon as you tried to open that door, or at least approach that door, it went further away from you. And you tried again, and it went further away from you. And you tried again, and further away from you, to the point where you can barely see it down this long stone hallway. And this is something you are not aware of. This could be an opportunity that is being hidden from you right now or out of reach because of this other aspect of your life that is unnatural or unneeded, that is making this opportunity slip away from you at this moment. It might not be entirely gone, but right now you are hindered and you aren't aware of it yet, which is really fascinating. So if you are hearing or are about to hear about something that you are trying for, or you've heard about maybe going for a job in the past, or have tried different competitions, or have tried asking somebody out or something like that, and it just hasn't gone your way yet, or it repeats over and over like that, there may be something that you have to reflect on in your life that is getting in the way of all of that to make it flow naturally and to make it succeed. Something you are aware of is that there are big changes happening at this moment. You can kind of feel when they happen, when things are starting to change, become different. And I actually see this as a positive. I know tower moments are big moments of change. A lot of times in the tarot community, we see them as a negative change, but I'm actually seeing this as a positive for you. And I see the big tower cracking as we all see it, and it is crashing down. Something that was stable in your life has now formed a crack in it and is coming down. Why is this positive, RoboMonk? Why do you say this tower moment is positive for me? Well, habits can be good and bad habits can be a stable part of your life for a long time. Something that you do over and over again that creates this false stability in your life. And I see these bad habits coming to an end. Whatever those may be for you, I see you breaking that false stability and being able to really move about on your own. Just like that dragonfly doesn't need that propeller on its nose to fly, it's going to realize that it can drop that propeller and fly around on its own. So in your past, why did this all come about? I see you using a crutch. And I don't see this as really a medical reading or actually literally a medical condition. I see you using something as a crutch. And what do I mean by that? Let's say that you are in a situation that makes you uncomfortable. And sometimes people use humor to mask the fact that they are uncomfortable in that situation. You would have used humor as a crutch to not be able to address what was actually happening in that situation. You would make it go away to have everyone laugh either at you or around you or with you to make that situation feel better, even though the problems didn't go away. And that's an example of using humor as a crutch. We use lots of things as crutches in our situations so that things might go away for now, right? So this person, I believe is you, is using a crutch in a situation to get through life. And it's created a bad habit. It's not necessarily your fault that this has happened, because I think in the past you probably needed that crutch to get around, to move about. Because when you have an injury like this, like a broken leg or something, you need that crutch to get around for a while. But then your leg heals, and then you don't need the crutch anymore. Well, I think you're at that moment where you don't need that crutch anymore, and you just haven't realized it yet. I think you've gained a lot of experiences through this journey, and now it's time to let go of that crutch. And in your near future, that's exactly what's going to happen. In this near future card, I see the propeller being dropped from the dragonfly, and I see the crutch being dropped from you, the person. I get the words discarded. And with this, it may feel a little weird at first, and you will feel like something is kind of missing for a while until you develop a habit without that crutch. Because walking around with crutches for so long, once you stop walking around with crutches, it may feel weird for a day or two, and then you remember, oh yeah, there was a point in my life that I didn't need this crutch, and I am so much more mobile now. I can go here, there, and everywhere, and it feels so much more natural, and I'm actually better off than what I was when I used that crutch. So discarding the things that are unneeded, discarding things that were bad habits in the past that may have had a good beginning, a good use for you in your past, have now become unnecessary, and it's time to let those go. What do you need to do? It's time for shadow work. It's time to see what bad habits have you come to terms with and are willing to let go. Are there different things, different ways of going about your life that you do every day that just aren't serving you anymore? They may have been useful in your past, but now they have become habits that are not serving you, and that's what I mean by bad habits. So it's time to do some shadow work, time to get in touch with yourself, with your emotions, about where you're at right now, and be honest with yourself. It's time to have an honest conversation about where you're going and how you feel about everything, and recognize what's necessary and what's just a habit that can be discarded. As for your environment around you, once you get in touch with yourself, once you start to let go of this action, or maybe even a person that you hung around with all the time that used to have meaning and doesn't anymore, you will find patience and kindness for yourself and others. I think you'll be surprised at how you feel without doing this action or hanging out with this person on a consistent basis. And it may take a while. They say it takes 30 days to form a new habit. So give yourself some time with removing this from your life and see how you feel after that. I get an image in this top right card here, and it's very powerful. It's very telling of what this message is trying to say to you. And this is not necessarily you. It's a good example of what you might be going through. So let's say that you have to walk through a desert. It's very hot during the day, and you want to make sure that your food stays cold. All right? So you strap a refrigerator on your back, and so the food will remain cold as you walk through the desert. There's lots of ice in that refrigerator. It's staying cold, but what else is it doing? It's weighing you down. It's weighing you down. And I realize there's no electricity to this refrigerator, and It's an interesting metaphor, but you get the picture. So the fact is that you are trying to use something for a reason that you think may have helped you in the past or is helping you now, but the negatives outweigh the benefits. Strapping a refrigerator to keep your food cold walking through the desert is eventually going to be a negative, right? It's going to be too heavy. You're not going to make it to your destination. You're going to have to take off that refrigerator in order to keep going. So that was a really interesting image and a pretty good metaphor to kind of denote where you're at or where you thought you were. So what finally happens when you discard this crutch, this propeller, this refrigerator that you've been relying on? You will finally catch up to your door of opportunity, that one that has eluded you in card 3. And if you've kept trying to do something and not quite getting it, I would try again after this whole process. And I think you're going to feel 1,000 times better about yourself, and it's going to reflect outwardly. And therefore, you may have a much better chance of getting things done and getting that accomplished and walking through that door of opportunity. So thank you, Pile 1, for being here today. I always appreciate your presence. I want to thank Spirit for being here with us today as well. It was quite an interesting message and very educational, something that we might not have thought of. So it's a great reflection message. Know that you're loved, know that you're blessed, and I'll see you next time. Hello, Pile 2. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Today, Spirit reveals why now is an important time in your life. Spirit has a message for you and is coming in to tell you. And it's great to know why now. Why are things happening now? And we are going to look at what is happening now, a little bit about what has happened in your past, and what is going to happen in your future. So as you can see, we have a Celtic cross, and that spread does exactly that: present, past, and future. I will channel images that Spirit gives me, and we will interpret them together. So let's get started. The first image that I get is one of two oceans trying to collide together. They desperately want to be one ocean, but there is a wall in between. And I get a feeling of passionate emotions. It's like two lovers that want to be together, but they cannot at this point in time. And they are desperately trying to get to one another, but there's something there that is blocking them. And I get the words, passions are blocked. They definitely are. I feel like it's mutual on both ends, but something is getting in the way that you either can't meet yet or can't proceed with your romance. There's something definitely blocking you at this point in time. But let's see what's going to happen. Maybe there is a relief to this blockage. Something you aren't aware of. I get acupuncture needles that are going into a bit of skin. And with this, the acupuncture is so exact with its positioning. I feel like Spirit is really being exact with positioning, exact timing, for the maximum amount of healing on both sides before the two of you get together. So either you are going through a healing process or they are going through the healing process. And it's just a little more time before the two of you can actually be together. And it feels like there's just a well of emotion going up and up and up. It's rising. Something you are aware of is I see hands sifting through sand and not finding anything. And I feel the frustration that you have because maybe this is a person that you're interested in, but you know you can't be with them yet, or you haven't met them yet, right? There's a lot of different people looking at this reading, so both of those are true. But you're going through and sifting through all of your options, and you're coming up empty. There's really nothing in this sand that is worth anything to you. And I feel your frustration. I feel like you've tried to find other options. You've tried to find this person before, and it's just not happened. And it's all about the timing. Even though you have kept trying, Spirit is very proud of you for not giving up. But it's all about the timing here in this reading. In your past, I received a very interesting image. It was one of a person dancing in a top hat, and then another person that was next to them dancing and kind of showing off. And then I saw this repeated over and over again. And it reminded me of those old 1940s Hollywood dance movies where they would have the people come down in top hats and dancing and tap dancing, and then others would be posing along the steps. And I got the words, there was a lot of fanfare, but no substance in your past. I feel like there was a romance that you had that was a lot of flowers, there was a lot of poetry, there was a lot of music, but there was no actual substance to it. So when the rain came, when things got a little tough, it washed away. It wasn't meant to last. And I'm sorry to hear that, Pile 2. I'm sorry to hear that. And I see this song and dance happening. Everything's really happy, or looks like it's really happy. But underneath, there's nothing to make it stay. So fanfare is usually what people say when there's a party going on, or a celebration, or some kind of orchestrated dance number or play, right? So this being in your past, you are definitely looking for something deep, which really lends itself to this tumultuous ocean, this really passionate feeling that I'm feeling in this reading. I'm digging deep and feeling this very powerful emotion to want to have someone there with you that understands you and that equates that passion. So that's why there's two C's wanting to get together. Well, I have good news for you, Pile 2. Finally, the wall breaks. The wall subsides. And the two oceans can now meld together. And I feel this relief. I feel this warmth and this ultimate energy coming from both of these oceans as they mix together. And it's extremely powerful, Pile 2, extremely powerful. I think this is more along the lines of soulmate connection. And it has substance, luckily. This is not going to go away if things get tough. What's amazing about the next image that I get is I see you and your person, but you are more like water nymphs. You are an expression of water. You are totally made of emotion at this point. And I think you are just so happy to be with this person, and you are actually forming a heart. And I get the words delight and dancing. But I feel like this is a different kind of dancing than in your past. In your past, it was showy, it was formal, it was staged. And staged is not necessarily a good thing. It means like it's fake, right? Here, this is ultimate natural dancing and delight. It's just the two of you. You don't care if anybody else is there. You don't care if anyone is seeing you dance and seeing you happy, because you just are in your own world with this person. And it sounds absolutely amazing, pile 2. Absolutely amazing. So you're dancing and you are in delight. And I definitely see you as water nymphs, the both of you. As far as your environment, I think you and this person are going to go different places that you never thought you would go. Maybe physically, as far as going to a different destination around the world, but I also think emotionally, you're going to create different paths, even neural paths that you have not yet created. And you're going to feel different emotions that you have not yet felt here on this earth plane, at least in this lifetime, right? At least in this lifetime. And I get the words, you will make new rivers together. And this goes along with you two being water nymphs. So you have this power of the ocean, and then you are traveling from that ocean into new pathways, into new ways of being together. And I always think that this is a great sign for a relationship, is ones that can help each other grow, ones that take each other to new places. The next image I get is one of the both of you reaching up to spirit, giving thanks, but also just being in unison. And I get the words, you needed someone to live life just as passionately as you do. I think that rings true here. There's so much passion coming from you. And yes, romantically, absolutely, but also just a passion for life and living for each day, living for each moment, stopping and looking at the beauty of nature, reading a good book, all of these different things that you like to do and makes you feel alive. You needed a person to mirror that as well. And this person is that person. So I'm very excited for you. Very, very excited. I see you mirroring each other exactly. The last image that I receive is one of you meditating. And I get the words, in your passion, you will find calm. The fact that you have finally found a person that equates your passion for life. You can finally feel like you can rest from that search. You can stop that search, and you can find calm in the fact that you have found that person and they are who you want. So that's a wonderful celebration for you, Pile 2. Absolutely wonderful. And sharing that passion, having those ultimate heights of emotion, will also lend itself to those calm times afterwards, and then going back up to that height of emotion as well. And I think you're going to find this pattern, just like waves crashing, you're going to find that very soothing in a relationship, and so will they. They're going to really resonate with that rhythm. So pile 2, this is an amazing reading. I'm very excited for you, and it looks like an amazing relationship. So there you have it. There's a lot of water in this reading. It doesn't necessarily mean that you both have to be water signs. It just means that you have so much emotion involved in that. I wanted to make that clear. All right, pile 2, thank you so much for being here with me today and always. And I want to thank Spirit for being here with us too. Know that you're loved, know that you're blessed, and I'll see you next time. Hello, pile 3. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Today, Spirit reveals why now is an important time in your life. We have these times in our lives, and Spirit is here with a message for you to see what that time is now. So we have a Celtic cross, which really explores what's happening now, a little bit about what happened in your past, and what's going to happen in your future. So I love this spread because it does just that. I will receive images from Spirit, I will draw them out, and then we'll interpret them together. So let's get started. The first image that I see is you walking through a door, and you are on the other side of this door. You are looking back at this door that you had just walked through. What's interesting is everywhere around you that you walked into is a little darker, but the doorway that you walked through and the other side is light, happiness, cheerful, and you are consistently looking backward and not forward. And I get the words looking back, and you may be afraid to look forward because you actually enjoyed where you were. So that is interesting. A lot of times we talk about on this channel going through that doorway and being excited to go through that doorway, but it doesn't seem like this was the case at this point in your life. Maybe you liked where you were, but now you are through that doorway and you are moving on. The next image, and it's something that you are not aware of, but you might be, is this big hand pushing you through this door. And I feel like this is Spirit making this happen, right? Spirit has pushed you through this door. And you may feel a little bitter about it, and that is understandable. It seems like you really liked where you were. Maybe this was a job you were in that you really liked, and maybe the company went bankrupt. Or maybe you were in a relationship and the person ended that relationship. Or there was a situation that you felt comfortable in, and now you are led out of that situation. In pile 3, I'm sorry for all of this that has happened to you. This does not seem like a very positive experience yet. But as we know, Spirit has a lot of different lessons and a lot of different ways of helping us. So let's see what's going to happen, right? Let's see what's going to happen as we go forward. Something you are aware of is that you are in a strange land. You are somewhere that you haven't been before. This could be physically, this could be emotionally, but I see you walking very cautiously, and there's lots of dark objects kind of sticking out everywhere and they may feel like they're coming towards you aggressively, right? So I feel like you're in this jagged, dark land that does not feel comfortable at all. And you are forced to go into this place, and you are not enjoying it, right? You are not enjoying it. And I get the words uncomfortable environment. In your past, I see you wrapped up in a blanket, sitting down, feeling warm, and it seems like you felt safe. I don't see a lot of action going on. Maybe it was a time of rest for you, because in this life, in this 3D earth plane, we have time of rest and time of growth. Time of growth can be somewhat awkward, painful, but yet ultimately rewarding. A time of rest can be peaceful, can be calming, and we feel safe at that point because there's not a lot going on. And that might be that you were in a time of rest. Maybe you didn't realize it at that point, but you were in a place that you felt safe and you felt good, and now you're in a place that you feel uncomfortable. This is very much apparent. This is very clear. So let's see what's going to happen in the future to see why Spirit has done this. So in this middle card, it's what's going to happen in your near future. I see the bottom half of the card in black, and there is you in the darkness, and out of you is growing a plant into the light. It seems that you are just sprouting. You are just starting your growth cycle again. That is actually very clear as well. So there is something growing out of you, heading into the light, and I feel like this is actually part of your growth journey emotionally, and this may actually get you to a new destination physically here on this 3D earth plane. It could be a different job, it could be a different relationship, it actually could be a different situation where before you felt safe but nothing was happening, but now things are happening and things might feel uncomfortable right now, but ultimately you're going to actually be growing into the light. And Spirit says it's time. It's time to grow into the light. And I hear all of you, or at least most of you. RoboMonk, I don't want to grow. I want to be here. I don't want to do anything else. I feel safe. I understand. I would be in the same position that you would be in, because it's great to feel safe. But you know, Spirit challenges us every day. And if we were just to feel safe, we wouldn't grow. That's just how life is, right? That's just how life is. So sometimes we have to do things that are a little scary for us emotionally, but it actually helps us get to that next stage of growth. I see you now finally turning ahead, seeing what is happening in this awkward environment. You see new obstacles, but now you are actually coming around and you see new chances of new victories, and you see new growth. And there's just a little tiny challenge ahead of you. And you say, okay, well, I'll try that one. And it actually works out really well for you. So you get enough energy to keep going. You get enough momentum to get over that next challenge and the next challenge. How this affects your environment is really fascinating, because instead of being exhausted like you thought you might be, and especially after we just wake up after a long sleep, we might feel very tired and we don't want to move. But then once we start to get moving, kind of like exercise, you feel more rejuvenated. And you are going to feel rejuvenated. You're going to feel full of energy. You're going to feel full of life and action. So the fact that there are new victories ahead, you're going to feel inspired to carry on. And you may not feel like that right now, but just know that you are going to feel like that in your future, because you're going to realize that, hey, you know what? That door that I walked through is great. I really did like it there. Maybe not right now where I'm at. I don't like that part, but I can get to the next part. And it's going to be even better than where I was. I'm going to have so many more experiences. I'm going to have so much more soul development. And I'm going to just be a better soul being and a better person. So you keep going. And all of a sudden, that bitterness goes away from Spirit, and then you say thank you to Spirit. I've been on that journey countless times to say, why did this happen, Spirit? Why are you pushing me this way? I don't want to go this way. I complained the whole time, and then all of a sudden, I'm in a great place. Things are wonderful, and then I say thank you, right? Then I say thank you. So I'm sure Spirit is very used to me doing that. I'm not sure if you guys do that, but it's pretty much human nature, I'll tell you that. It's pretty much human nature to complain, and then say thank you. So that's okay if you do. The top card there is what you thought would happen. You thought you would be tired to start again. Just as I said before, you look exhausted. You're just trying to stomp along the path and not really doing much. But it's actually not true. You're actually feeling rejuvenated and able to conquer any challenge that's coming your way. And it's absolutely amazing, pile 3, because you feel that life flowing through you again. And ultimately, I see abundance coming your way. I see a coin here which symbolizes abundance to me. That can be spiritually, that can be physically, and that can be emotionally. And I really see all 3 at this point, because you are really conquering a lot of shadow work here through this. And I see you holding a mirror in different directions. And you see different gifts that you have that you were not aware of before. And that may cause you to thank Spirit as well, because you're going to have to use some different strategies to get over these challenges that are coming up that you haven't before. But you're going to be ultimately successful. You're going to learn a lot about yourself, and you're going to be proud of yourself. And Spirit's going to be proud of you too. It's going to be ultimately amazing, even though it's uncomfortable at the beginning. Just keep going, right? Just keep going. You can do it. I know you can do it. Spirit knows you can do it. So pile 3, thank you so much for being here with me today. I want to thank Spirit for being here with us today. I want to thank Spirit for giving us those tough messages sometimes that are hard to hear, but ultimately they are going to be worth it. Worth it. Know that you're loved, know that you're blessed, and I'll see you next time.